Once was a land of woe and strife, where the people were bereft of hope. They prayed to their gods of might and light to deliver the heroes of old. Instead they got heroes. Did you hear the quotes in my voice of moral ambiguity? They may help or may not help you at all. Depends on what's in it for them. They kick and they punch and they maul and they smash. They lie and they scheme and they burn and they slash. Succeed or fail, it adds to the tale. Dungeons and Debacle starts now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Dungeons and Debuckles podcast. I'm your host and dungeon master, Kevin. Going around the table, Hannah.
I'm Hannah, and I'll be playing Talia, the human rogue.
And Blake.
I'm Blake, and I'll be playing Juliet, the Dragonborn eldritch knight / whip fighter.
And Shane.
Shane playing Alexander, the human bard.
And John.
Hello. I play Alunodas, Elven monk. Heartthrob.
So the last time on Dungeons and Debuckles podcast, you guys faced a Welf, which is a werewolf in the woods outside of Feydale. You were able to dispatch it and made your way to the gates of Feydale, and you're coming upon not so of a warm of welcome. So you stand outside the gates of Feydale, and these 30-foot tall walls look to be a whitish stone with reliefs of trees and vines carved into the walls. There are evenly spaced parapets along the walls, and you can see elves on top of each with bows. You also see where there's arrow slits that run the length of these towers. The elves you do see on these parapets, they're up there with their bows, but their arrows aren't nocked. But you notice that the ones on either side of this gate, you have their attention. The gate appears to be made of a dark polished wood with a similar motif as the walls, but in the center is a tall elf holding a great sword above his head, with a star above the point of the sword. Anybody want to give me a religion or history check?
Nice.
Hannah is starting us off strong.
All right, so Alexander and Alunodas, you would know that this is a depiction of Corellin Larethian, who is the god of the elves. To either side of the gate, there are two huge blue banners, and in the center of each is a silver tree with a silver star above each one of the trees. In front of you, blocking the road, is a 5-foot tall wooden palisade with the points at the top shaved into spikes. To the left and the right of you, you will see similar structures angled away from the road with enough room to pass a cart on either side, but not directly down the cobblestone road that leads you to the gate. Behind you, there are elves in plate, 3 of them on horseback, carrying lances. And in front of you, you see more than a half dozen elves in full plate, carrying long spears with blue and silver streamers attached below the steel tips of their spears. Directly in front of you is a tall elf in silver full plate mail, carrying a long sword and a shield. You can't see much of his face due to the ornate silver helm he's wearing, and there's a long blue plume coming from the top of the helm. He's wearing a dark blue cloak with a silver clasp in the shape of a tree and star that matches the banners on either side of the gate. That elf, who appears to be in charge here, says in a loud and proclaiming voice, "Halt in the name of High King Daralion. I am Captain Sinis, shield protector of Corellin. Not yourselves and your purpose at the gates of Feydale."
Psst, Juliet. What? I'm not an elf.
Aren't you pretending to be the priestess?
Sure. Juliet clears her throat and calls out, yes, I am Rena Fairghost, and I am a priestess of Arathis. We've come here on a pilgrimage. That's it.
So, this captain sent us. He's going to give you a small bow. My apologies, Your Grace. I mean no disrespect, but I have been given strict orders not to admit anyone not known and vetted by the small council, the temple or tower of Corellian, or the king himself. If you have a message, I can have it delivered. Or if you have someone in the hierarchy of which I just described, who can vouch for you, I can admit you. If not, I bid you on your way in safe journey.
Do we have anyone, guys?
I don't know anyone in the hierarchy.
I do not either. So this one, hey Kevin, just a quick question, not a character. Would this be something that is it self-contained within their city, or would there be like newspapers about it, like in other towns nearby?
I don't know what you mean by that.
So like the hierarchy of the elves here, right? That they're trying to have some sort of verification of like who we are, right?
Yes.
Would I know of the identity of like people on that council?
Give me a history check.
9.
No.
And just to clarify, because it's been a week and I'm a goofball, can I see the big map? Where's the
big map
reference point where
of the city or the area?
We're west of the gate.
The area, like going towards the town that we're trying to get to.
Okay, so that's basically the area map right there.
Got it, and we're at the gates of Feydale.
Correct.
Okay, and they are trying to give verification that we're human beings. Well, loosely, living things that have a conscience.
Well, not so much as living beings as you have some right to be there.
Makes
because
sense.
If you remember, there's some strife up in this area between the high elves and the wood elves, on the verge of, from a cold war to a hot war, based on some of the sounds of battle that you've heard in the area. So you kind of think they've got this place on lockdown.
That is reasonable. I will lean over to Alunodas and whisper to him, should we just go along with the ruse that we were going on before of trying to do your rite of passage and just try and use that to get entry?
We could give it a shot. I don't know if they would care about a wood elf wanting to do that.
What do you say, Julian?
Maybe we should just try and bluff our way in as a certain wrath. I don't know.
I think that's what we're trying to do. But we can certainly try the coming of age thing.
So as you sit here and you're whispering to each other, you can kind of see that he's getting impatient.
I will go up to hearing range and exclaim to him that our friend here, Alunodas, on us for our pilgrimage, is trying to do his coming of age ceremony, which he was unable to do earlier in his life due to his time at the temple. We were wondering if we could gain passage so that he can do his coming of age ceremony.
So he looks around the group and then he spots Alunodas and says, "You have a wood elf in your company? Can you explain why?"
Question out of character. So we're doing our pilgrimage thing, right? Does the belief system that we're going with, are they like racist, or do they care about race?
The high elves are extremely xenophobic, and
right, but I mean, who we're pretending to be on our pilgrimage.
Right, which is are you talking about a pilgrimage of Arathis? Because you basically just told him that you're here for this rite of passage ceremony for this elf, and he looks over and sees that it's a wood elf.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I came off as if we were in the pilgrimage together, not as if the pilgrimage person was a separate entity.
Well, a pilgrimage for a priestess of Arathis and a pilgrimage for an adulthood ritual for a wood elf aren't exactly the same thing.
That makes sense.
I don't know. You guys talked yourself into a corner here. I don't know where else to go.
Yeah,
from you
I was
guys.
kind of flabbergasted.
Talia's gonna pipe up and say, "Sir, when we started this journey, we were unaware of any issues between the different types of elves. We just wanted to help our friend. Is there any way that we can maybe help this confrontation at least come to a what's the word I'm looking for? Out of character.
Come to a close?
Stalemate.
Not a close, like a temporary close. Like
Ceasefire?
Yeah, a ceasefire, thank you. Is there any way we can help this confrontation come to a ceasefire just for a short while? Maybe help get some peace here?
Little girl, that's far beyond my pay grade.
May we speak to the person whose pay grade it is at?
No.
Why not?
Because you haven't given me any reason whatsoever to listen to anything you say. You show up here at our gates with really no reason to be here or inside the gates. You can't tell me anyone you know who can vouch for you inside. I have my orders.
Sir, all I can say is that we were trying to help our friend, who we care about very much. We don't know what's required for a coming-of-age ceremony as humans, obviously. I don't know. The priestess wouldn't know. We're just trying to help him, and we're being given no answers and no concept as to why we're even being treated like this.
So he's going to look at you and say, the reasons why aren't really any of my concern or your concern, really. I do what I'm told. And as far as your friend's adulthood ritual here, that's really not any of my concern either. Looks to be he's a few decades past prime anyway.
Damn.
With respect,
Well, he
sir.
was-
I left the Wood Elf area quite some time ago, joined the temple, and have not considered my elf in much time. It was a requirement of the temple that I fulfill these adulthood rituals, not for any real need of my own.
Yes, but what are you doing here? Why not just go to the Feygate?
Well, we were under the impression that you had closed it, and since you are in charge of it, it was only proper to come and talk to you.
I am but a humble servant of the King, Feydale, and Corellin. I go where I am bidden, and I am bidden to guard this gate. I'm told what I need to know, and that's it. As to what's going on at the Feygate, that's beyond my pay grade.
So could we proceed directly to the Feygate then?
If you wish. I doubt your reception there will be much better than here.
You know, sir, you talk an awful lot about pay grades, and yet you're unwilling to bring us someone whose pay grade could talk to us. Perhaps you would be willing to bring someone out to us that would know and have better answers than it's above my pay grade?
Maybe we just need to raise his pay grade.
If you have a message to deliver, I can certainly do that. Or, like I said, a name of someone in the hierarchy of which I've spoken of. Then yes. But just showing up here to the gate and expecting admittance, I'm afraid I can't do that.
I don't know. Okay, out of character, I want to have him bring a message to his commanding officer, but I don't know what to say in that message. That's what I'm thinking of right now, just so you know.
Alright, so I have a question here. I actually have this picture saved of the connections that you told us about from the various books we gathered for, I guess for the Red Talons. We found them in the mansion. Would any of those names be even remotely related to anyone in the hierarchy in Feydale?
You could try throwing one out.
See, that's the thing. I don't know any of these people, and none of them appear to be from anywhere near here.
That's not exactly true. There is one you could throw out.
I don't know. Can I
on.
see a map? Like, I don't... None of these places, as far as I could tell, were close. I could say Orin the Companion, but that risks us being attracted.
What's his name from the island? But he
You
was
mean
an
Grand
elf.
Rage Pharrell? I guess he's
Yeah.
an elf, but isn't he from Carly?
Well, he's located in Carnley.
I guess that's better than nothing. All these other people are just fucking ridiculous.
There is one thing that you could probably say in relation to something that'll get you through these gates, based on this map.
Hold on, now I gotta dig around for the map of this world.
Doesn't have as much to do with geography as you think.
Is this D&D campaign trivia?
Yeah, I don't know. There's an awful lot of answers, and if I put the wrong one, I don't know what's
We're
gonna
here
happen,
on
and
a
I don't want
task
to risk.
from what's his name? What kind of paladin? Oh no, he was a paladin of Bahamut. So that was
Yeah, no. I already checked all the companions. None of them, as far as I can tell, have a connection to this city at all. The only thing I could think of is the companions are some sort of popular thing, apparently, and maybe this guy knows about them, but honestly, probably not, and or doesn't care.
You also really haven't really tried to work your Arathis angle.
I just don't see a point that elves don't worship Arathis. Arathis is about civilization. The elves worship Corellon. Like, Corellon is not friends with Arathis at all. Like, there is absolutely no reason for a priestess of Arathis to be anywhere near the Elven lands, unless it was for some stupid pilgrimage. Which I just don't see anything behind it. I don't know why we went along with the religion thing, but it seemed good enough
because
at
it
the
was
time.
better than being an elf.
I guess that's true. I feel like we probably should have gone with something, I don't know, a bit less obvious.
But, I mean, at the same time, I mean, even though they're not aligned, you get the feeling that Arathis is respected by the elves,
guess.
based on the conversation that you just had with this captain. I mean, he did show you deference and respect.
He was pretty nice. Now I just gotta figure out which one of these guys is remotely related to Arathis. Fuck if I know.
We have a king up in Marilesh, a number of nobles. We have a mage, Elven Bahamut. Orin was a bard. I'm kind of drawing a blank.
Orin's
Orin's
not a
a
bard.
halfling,
He's
right?
a...
An investigator or whatever, inquisitive. Right? Something like that?
Yep. I would say, look who's the most connected here.
Oh, now I gotta count up the lines. Jesus Christ. Okay, so the most connected, the person who has 8 connections is Hera Kimaldi. So I guess we'll name drop her,
Only
him,
7.
8. Only 7? I'm counting 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 7. Then also Leah Arath also has 7.
So does Barrow, and so does Orin.
Orin actually has 8.
He does.
Does he? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, my
yes,
God.
he does.
Yo, fuck this little guy. I am getting his head for being an asshole on this fucking chart. Alright. I guess we'll name drop him then. How do I want to say this? I'm sorry, sir. We've just come such a long way. Orin the Companion, he himself told us about the glory of this place, and that we might be able to actually come in. That's disappointing. Orin would be disappointed.
On, you say?
Yes, we know each other on a first-name basis.
Wait here. So
I can't help but think that maybe, just maybe, this is a really bad idea.
Oh, this is a terrible idea. I was gonna go with, we're with companions and we're hunting red talons, and then just like throw us right into the fucking danger zone. But
Yeah, we're still waiting on the feedback from the guard, I guess. He actually went off to lunch and just left us standing around. What a joke. I'm better at being mildly comedic than actually useful in the party. Kill me, please. Just bring me in. Put
you
me
have a
into
dagger, dude.
I do have the dagger. You know, these elves are looking mighty tasty now that I think about it. Maybe
Or
I
you could just tell on our group. You could be like, "Fuck it, I'm done with these fucking assholes." Write yourself out of the
I'm sure that would
campaign
go well
with that
for him.
character, and
I don't know about you guys, but I have an escape strategy that I hope will work.
Is it dark out? I don't think that would work.
It's called Pretend to be a Helpless Little Girl.
as knives spill out from your dress.
So you're going to see this this guy in full plate, this Captain Sinus, is going to walk through a smaller door that's part of this gate. About 5 minutes later, he is going to come back out with another elf, just about his regal armor, but he's got two plumes sticking out of his helmet. He's going to walk up. He whispers something to Sinus, and then he points to you, Juliet. He's going to walk up to you. My name is Major Laren. Captain Sinus here says that you know Orin. Is this true?
Oh, yes, very much so, sir.
Give me a deception check.
God damn it. Alright, here's the natural one, guys. Pretty close. 6.
That's a 6.
I actually cringe enough to make my legs cramp up.
Someone
legs
else
are
needs to do the
cramped.
fucking talking. This is what happens every time.
You're the one who wanted to be the leader.
Whoa. I was voted the leader.
I don't think that's true.
Well, no one has voted against me. I would say that's 100% vote.
I don't think
I don't
there
think
was
I
a vote. This Major Laren is going to give you like a strange look. How exactly do you know Orin?
I will pipe up. I do have a pipe, technically. Yeah, we were hunting down red talons further down south, and we encountered them on the after a hunt. We ended up talking about what we've done.
Really? You know, Erik Talewright's here.
Can I do a history check on that name?
You would know that Erik Talewright is a
Yeah,
famous
he's one of the
bard and a
companions.
companion. He was on a similar hunt and is currently interrogating one of the Talons in the city as we speak.
I swear to fucking God, if you say, go and tell him we're here, I'm gonna fucking strangle you on the spot.
That sounds reasonable.
And he's looking to you to respond.
That's a big yikes out of character. You know, I'm not good at this whole interrogation thing out of character.
Who are you interrogating?
You mean
He's interrogating
conversation?
me.
Oh,
Deception?
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you mean
Yeah.
by out of character?
That's a click for you. Okay. Pause to get out of the goofiness. Yeah, he would definitely vouch for us.
Give me a deception check.
Crit.
Oh, God.
Nice. Pulling through in the clutch.
He's gonna say, yes. Well, maybe you can meet him at the tower. Captain Sinus, let them through. Captain Sinus is going to motion from these other guards to move some of these palisades to open them up for you to pass the cart through. And then you're going to hear the Major yell, "Open the gates!" One of the sides of the gates is going to open up large enough for you to pass the cart and your horses through.
Nice.
So, are you going in?
Hell
I
yeah.
think we are.
Sure.
So, who thinks we're gearing up for a TPK?
Oh, I'm so looking forward to my Kenku Necromancer. What about you guys?
I've already got 3 characters set up.
Oh, I see. I haven't set up my friggin' soundboard yet, because Kenku's Mimic.
We can throw this campaign in the trash and start a new.
My next character is definitely going to be charisma focused. Because I do way too much talking, and in combat I'm a useless piece of shit. I don't take damage, I don't do damage, I just kind of sit there and watch you guys fall unconscious.
You're beginning to move through these gates, and the major's going to say, my sergeants here will accompany you. I'm sure you'll want to go to an inn first and clean up. They can take you.
Thank you kindly. Oh, sorry. Thank you kindly.
He gives a slight bow. You notice that there's going to be these 2 guards that are going to fall in beside you. So, let's bring up the map of Feydale. As you cross through this gate, you're going to notice over to your right, there is this large garrison made of stone that's probably about 3 stories tall. You're going to see some elven soldiers running through some exercises and drills outside here. You're also going to notice a large stable with farriers working on some horses, brushing them down and shoeing them. One thing that you notice as you walk through the gates is there are trees everywhere, as if like the forest has been integrated into this city. To the left of you, you are going to see some shops and a marketplace. As you move up through this avenue, you are going to see this large statue of an elven woman with a long bow on a pedestal that is surrounded by this fountain that stretches probably about 40 feet in diameter. Behind that, you are going to see this incredibly tall tree, probably one of the tallest you've ever seen, on the scale of maybe like a California redwood. Around that, you are going to see a park filled with trees, but towering above this, you are going to see a large silver structure made up of 4 towers behind it that stretches probably about 200 feet up into the air. To the right of you, you are also going to see a large tower, similar in construction to what you saw in Karn Lee at the Tower of Insight, but on a much smaller scale. It's probably about 100 feet in height. You're going to see various other structures and tall buildings. There are cobblestone roads that seem to crisscross and spiderweb out all over this city. The city itself seems to be maybe about a mile in diameter, based on you can see from wall to wall. You see wooden and stone structures, houses. Most things here, are in the 2 to 3 story range. But one thing that sticks out is there are trees interspersed everywhere. So you're led up this street and you are passing this one statue. Everybody give me a history check.
Boom. 4.
Woo!
10.
Hannah, even though you didn't get out much as a street urchin, you would know that this is a statue of Elysian Silverbow, one of the saviors.
I will say that to my friends.
And my friend.
But also point out that the reason I know all of this is because of all of the reading I've been doing now that I know how to do that. That's the excuse I'm coming up with on why I know all of the history.
So, as you're traveling up the street, one of the sergeants on the right of you is going... Who's leading the pack here?
Me.
Okay. This elf is going to turn to you and say, I know naught of your means. What kind of inn would you be looking for?
Something modest, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, it's easily done.
Do you have any recommendations?
Yes, the Fey Folly. And he is going to lead you up this road along the street here where I'm peeing. To the right, you're going to see that large silver tower that's kind of a mimic of what you saw in the Tower of Insight. Beyond that, as you travel up the street, you are going to see another statue with a fountain of a tall elven woman with a staff. And there is this large building behind it that's kind of a squarish 3-story building with a rotunda on top of it made of this black marble. You're going to cross further up the street and you're going to see a large 5-story building. It's made of red stone. To your left, as you pass the silver palace on your left, you're going to see another large statue. Everybody give me a religion or a history check.
10.
Your boy's a history buff. What do you know?
I haven't read all of the books yet.
Alexander and Juliet, you would know that this is a statue of the elven god Corellin. To the north of that, you are going to see what appears to be a temple. And then as you come to the end of this street, it forks again and completes this oval that goes around this the temple, the statues, and the silver tower. And you're going to see a large clock tower. And then to the right, you are going to see a large 4-story structure with stables all around it. It is wood with a black slate roof. And there's a sign out front that has a depiction of a nymph. And the sign reads in Elven, Alunodas would know this, is the Fey's Folly.
Fey's Folly.
So, as you pull up to this, the sergeant is going to say, "You can park your horses in back. This is the Fey's Folly. You'll be able to get rooms here."
Thank you kindly, sir.
And they're just standing there waiting for you to do something.
We very much appreciate your help in this matter, both for my pilgrimage and for our friend's quest. Where could we find Erik Talewright again?
He is at the Silver Palace.
Will he be here long?
I don't know that. I'm assuming you will want to meet with him soon after you refresh yourself.
We'll go find him ourselves, but yes.
Oh, we'll be waiting.
And Juliet is going to nod and motion for everyone to bring their horses around back so we can unload all our stuff and get inside. ASAP.
I will follow.
So
Actually, I was thinking that we would immediately go to a different inn, but yeah.
So you move into the stable yard, and you're going to see these 2 riders dismount, but they are outside the inn.
Talia, I think maybe you could hunt down some thieving contacts, see if we can't get underground real quick.
Can I look around for any kind of real, thieves guild in the area?
Well, I mean, you're at this inn. You can give me a investigation check to see if you can see any thieves' can or anything like that.
21.
So you look around, and this place is pretty pristine. It doesn't look like there's any graffiti, any carvings into wood or stone, and definitely not any thieves' can.
I'll relay that information. I see nothing. This place does not look like it has that sort of thing.
Yeah, it really puts the thieves can't.
Alright. Maybe let's go inside, get rooms, and get ready to move as soon as we can. I don't want them knowing where we are.
You take your horses and your cart into the stable yard. There are 2 young elves, and by young, maybe 40 years old, that are working the stables, that take your horses and take the saddles off and brush them down and assign them slots in this stable. Are you
guys right inside?
Yeah. Let's go.
Actually, Luno is going to wander about the town and see if he can't find any hint, however subtle, of red talons or red talon activity. He's keeping his eyes open on the street.
Okay. Are you just walking back out the way you came?
No. Is there a back way out, I'm hoping?
There is a gate that leads out the back of these stables. Are you going to walk out there? What are you doing?
I'm going to peek through if I can, see what's on the other side.
You look out the back gate of the stables, and this appears to be a residential area. You're seeing some trees, you're seeing some houses behind the inn here.
All right, then I'll walk through the gate and then start exploring the town. Just, a humble monk walking around doing monk things.
I don't think that's a good idea.
No?
You're not one of their kind. I don't think you're gonna get any help around these parts. I'll tell you what.
Well, I was kind of hoping just to look and see if I couldn't spot any sort of Talon allies, but if you think I should stick around here and not go out, then that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, you're welcome to do what you want. But yeah,
I'm talking like an elf. That's racist.
Because we're technically out of character and we're being very meta because you've already walked out of the room.
Why are you appropriating Wood Elf culture?
It's our culture and heritage.
I don't have an answer for you.
Next thing you know, you're going to be putting twigs in your hair.
Are you calling me a wood elf?
Right. So, is Alexander recommending to Alunodas that he not go out?
It's up to you. If you think it's a good choice, go for it.
I'm going to give it a shot. If nothing else, I can always run.
Are you just walking out this gate, or are you trying to sneak out? What are you doing?
I ain't particularly sneaky, so I'm just going to open it, walk through, close it, and then walk.
Okay, so you walk out this gate, and there is this grassy kind of backyard area. Before you get to the next house, there's 3 or 4 large trees, and then you see the street to your west goes back to the wall. Across the street from this inn, you are going to see what appears to be a large manor house.
So I was just thinking I would walk, not hurriedly about the city, keeping my eyes and ears open, hoping to spot any sort of signs of talons or talon activity. Not really engaging with anyone, not trying to spark up conversation or anything like that.
Around this time of day, across the street from this inn is this manor house, but behind this is kind of a market district, and you are seeing several high elves out on the street. And as you are walking through this area, give me a perception check.
25.
You are noticing you're gaining a lot of attention as you walk through here, as they recognize you as a wood elf. You are starting to see some of these high elves whisper to each other, and some have even started pointing at you.
Okay, I'm going to head back to the inn.
So you're able to get back to the gate and slip in?
Yep, they definitely saw me and did not care for me. So I should not wander about the city. Other people are going to have to investigate.
I mean, one thing that you do know about these high elves is they are pretty xenophobic. As you've walked around through this city, you are not really seeing any other races.
So people with disguises could investigate.
I mean, I have disguised self, but what would I be looking for exactly?
I don't know.
Is everybody still out in the stables?
I thought we went inside. I thought that was the whole thing. And then Alunodas went to do his own thing.
Okay, so
I get back and they've been inside. Yeah.
Okay, so let's cut to the rest of the party here. You walk around the side of these stables up to the front entrance of this inn. It's kind of got the feel of like this large covered porch almost all the way around. The left, right, and front side of this, there's chairs. You kind of get like the Cracker Barrel feel of this place, but a little bit more churched up.
Elven kitsch.
So you walk through the front doors of this place and you go inside. And at this point in the afternoon, there's not really anybody inside here. The common room is of this dark polished wood There's no sawdust on the floor. That's usually the telltale signs of kind of a lower place establishment. The tables and benches here are of a polished wood also. There's also some round tables here with chairs around them. At the back, there is this long, dark, polished wood bar with a mirror at the back end of it. You see various bottles of wine, tankers of ale, and even some bottles that you recognize as spirits. There is a woman who has her back currently turned toward you. She's wearing a simple green silk dress. She has this long strawberry blonde hair, and she appears to be polishing some crystalware. And you see that she notices you because she looks up into the mirror behind her, and she is going to see you as you enter and turn around. Yes, can I help you?
Oh, yes, hello. We're looking to rent a room here, or maybe more than one.
How many people do you have?
We have 5.
So let's say at least 3 rooms.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
Yes, we have those available. At 15 gold per night.
Is that total, or for each room?
For each.
That's...
Hey, Kevin.
Yes.
Out of character. What's the going rate for like a inn?
This is kind of expensive. You would expect to pay anywhere from like 3 to 5 gold at most inns.
Okay, makes sense. Isn't that a bit much? I mean, I'm sure we could work our way down, yeah?
Who are you saying that to?
The clerk lady.
That's the going rate for travelers in the city.
Even with the 21 of persuasion? Rip.
Oh, I didn't see a 21 persuasion.
I assume that whenever I try and persuade somebody, I do a persuasion check.
She's going to look you up and down, and then she's going to look Juliet up and down and see the priestess robes. Well, it appears that you have a priestess here. Perhaps 12 gold a night.
That sounds good to me.
I was gonna say maybe we should try to find somewhere that's a bit more in our budget and start to walk towards the door.
The sergeant said this was probably the budget-minded place.
Yeah.
This is the budget place at 12. Jesus, are elves just rich AF?
No, it's because we're outsiders. I don't know what's not to grasp. They're xenophobic people that don't care, especially since we have a wood elf. I mean, if we're being fair, this is probably pretty cheap with a wood elf at our party.
Let's be fair. We have plenty of money.
Yeah.
Give me an insight check.
Pay for a week's worth of rooms.
Crit?
Ooh.
You get the feeling, Talia, that she just doesn't really even want to rent to you or deal with you because you're all kinds of different races that aren't elf.
And the wrong kind of elf.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
See, I kind of want to go somewhere else. Maybe pay more, but maybe be treated better.
I mean, that's the whole point. They're all gonna be like this.
Yeah.
We won't know until we check, and if we're in an inn that isn't the one they sent us to, that isn't a bad thing either.
But I say we get a week's worth of rooms and then disappear. Because if we pay for a week's worth of rooms, they won't be expecting us to disappear, is what I'm saying.
So she's just sitting here looking almost like bored and like indifferent, but she's kind of, getting tired of you not responding. So do you want the rooms or not? I don't have all day.
I look at her and say, can I bring my dog to my room?
There's an extra charge for that, sweetheart.
What's the charge?
5 gold per night.
For just the one room, correct?
Yes. Unless you expect the dog to be in all 3.
Well, not at once. And Talia's gonna pull out, what did you say, a week's worth of rooms?
That's what I think.
Hold on, I'm doing math.
That'd be 45 gold a night times 7.
Plus 35 for the dog.
Talia's gonna pull out 315 gold and put it on the counter. Give us our keys, please, ma'am. Because she figures that if she's gonna be rude, Talia can be rude back.
You put the money on the counter, and she picks up one of the gold coins. She takes this kind of like a crimping press from behind the counter to punch into it because, you know, she's too classy to bite into a gold piece to make sure it's real. And she says, "That's acceptable. Here are your keys." And she reaches behind the counter and pulls out the keys to your rooms. "There'll be an extra charge if you make a miss."
We'll try not.
What's the extra charge?
"Well, cleaning fees will amount to anywhere from 5 to 10 gold, depending on how big of a mess you make. I know sometimes you people can be somewhat messy."
Oh, that's strange. I've heard the same about you. And Talia's just gonna walk away.
She doesn't mean that. She's just a rude kid.
Yeah, someone should teach her some manners.
Could say the same about you, she yells over her shoulder.
Alunodas does not crack a smile.
Knife Run's gonna say, "If we're done with this power play, can we just go get our rooms?"
Sure thing.
Talia's gonna go get Abbott and happily bring him to the room with her.
Let's go on upstairs.
So, as you bring the dog in, you see that this Hilsa, the innkeeper, is kind of giving you the side eye. "Make sure he doesn't track any moth through the room."
I'll do my best, ma'am. But she's gonna say it like she's saying a dirty word.
All right, so you guys make it up to your rooms, and they're really nice rooms. Most of the inns that you've stayed in have been pretty plain, but you go inside of these, and there's like these poster beds, and you know they're like queen-size beds. There's polished wood furniture, dressers, chairs. There's even silver mirrors inside of each room. There's porcelain wash basins. There's these ornate rugs on the floor. It's pretty high class.
Well, that was just a lie. When you said it was high class, well, that was just a lie.
How so?
They ain't never caught a rabbit. Ain't no friend of mine.
I mean, they're high elves. Of course they have high-class rooms.
So you got your rooms. What are you doing now?
Plotting how we can escape and hide. 'Cause I don't like anybody thinking we're connected with the companions and knowing where we are. Especially not when there's a companion in the city.
Yeah. Once night falls, I think Talia would like to take a flight around the city as a bat, leaving her window open so that she can get back in because she's learned her mistakes. And see if she can find some kind of a seedy underbelly of the city.
All right.
Watch out for the owls.
So around this time, it's probably about 2:30 in the afternoon. So are you just going to wait for nightfall, or is anybody else going to do anything?
Well, Juliet and Alexander, and possibly Nifron, can disguise themselves, go around the city, and look for stuff. I don't know what. Maybe information about where the boots might be, or along with Talia. Talia has disguised self, right? Anyway, can explore, look for thieving stuff, and all that sort of stuff. Looking for information.
So as you were talking about this, Nifron's he's gonna chuckle and say, "There's no seedy underbelly of Feydale. Have you never been here? It's pretty idyllic."
That's what they want you to think.
"I've been here many times, girl. There is no thieves' guild. There's virtually no crime.
Damn perfect high elves.
Anything that's crime, or let's say a seedy element, is expelled."
To where?
They don't care. Just as long as it's not in the city.
And maybe they can just go directly to the temple or tomb or whatever it is, and see if they can't investigate and find out if the boots are there or if they've been moved or what.
Okay, so is your plan to go to the temple of Corellian?
That's the archmage person? Yeah?
No, there's basically here you've got the Silver Tower, which would be where the king and the small council is. You've got a temple, which would be like the priesthood. And then you've got the tower here, which would be basically your wizards. which would correspond. 4 here would be the tower, 6 here would be the temple, and 8 over here on the map would be the Tower of Corellin. So right now, really the only thing that you know is, that Erik Talewright is in the city interrogating a red talon that was captured, who is at the Silver Palace.
That's number 4?
Correct.
Or number 8?
Number 4.
All I know is that being in this city makes me itch. I don't really like it. Can we investigate as quick as possible and leave?
Well, for what it's worth, if there's really no crime here, we're not going to be suspected very easily, are we?
Well, we're not high elves, and they don't like us, and now they think we're with the companions, and there's a companion here. I don't like it. Alunodas starts, pacing the room, looking all jittery.
Alunodas, as you are pacing back and forth in this room, give me a perception check.
19.
You are on the front side of this inn, and as you are pacing back and forth, you look out the window and you notice where there were 2 guards before, there are now 4, and it looks like the 2 sergeants that were there that walked up the street with you earlier have been relieved of their duty, and now there are 2 new guards.
I'll let everyone know. Looks like they're keeping watch on us. They just did a guard shift change.
Are you certain it's not simply their overzealousness to, fight crime?
No, I think they're watching us. Can we just, get our business done with in this city as quickly as possible? It's like being in an anthill.
Well, if we want to get this done quickly, then I guess we had better rest up for tomorrow, right?
Yes.
And maybe we should, while we're awake in our beds, since we won't be able to sleep because of all the, hostility, we'll think of a better story for why we're here, unless we want what happened at the gate to happen again.
Okay, yeah, sure, yeah, fine, yeah.
Yeah, we can let, try and get freaking, why her name's escaping me, freaking Talia to turn into a bat later on, to try and search things out.
So around this time, you are going to hear a knock at your door.
I will go to answer it.
So you open the door, and there is a tall elf there in half plate. He's removed his helmet and has it tucked under his arm. You can see he's still armed. He has this long flowing brown hair and says, "Do you intend to rest for the night, or shall I send word of your coming to Companion Talewright?"
We intend to rest for the night, thank you.
As you wish. I know you must have traveled far.
Yes, sir, it was not an easy trek.
I guess that's true. You don't need a deception for that. So he nods to you and says, "All as you say." And he is going to turn and walk down the steps of this inn. Alunodas, you'll notice that that same elf a few minutes later walks outside. Him and another elf are standing guard outside this inn.
He didn't leave. He's still out there, keeping a watch on us.
Okay, but it's not a big deal yet. We're still okay.
So far. It's only a matter of time before the companion finds out about us. We need to be out of here. Go, get, put on a disguise and go explore, talk. Yeah.
Alunodas, you're looking out the window and you're going to see another guard on horseback walk up the street and talk to the guard that was just at your room. And they talk for a while, and you see that one guard who was at your room point to the back of the inn, and you're going to see the rider go up the street and turn north up that street.
Now they're
and
watching the
disappear.
back door, so we can't get away. This is the worst. We shouldn't be here.
Well, not all of us can disguise ourselves, so we're going to have to figure out a clever way to get around that.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that elves are pretty perceptive people.
That, and it's pretty homogeneous. So you're basically the different races in the city. So you kind of stick out like a sore thumb.
So what's the plan?
We get some
explore during
rest.
the day. You two explore during the day now while you can with disguises. Talia flies around tonight. I try to not die.
Just a thing. I can only hold my disguise for about an hour, maybe 3 tops. That's not all that much time to explore.
Well, it's enough to walk to a temple, have a conversation, and walk back, right? Right?
Yes, but then if something happens...
Not to mention, what if they see through our disguise?
Why would they?
I don't think the magic's going to be a problem with that.
Elves aren't. Elves don't have. They can't see through disguises any better than anyone else.
Then I guess me and Juliet are going out.
I mean, Alunodas is practically shooting you out the door, but that would still be up to you guys.
I will use disguise self on myself to look like one of the elves that I saw on the road coming here.
Okay.
Juliet is merely going to don the Arathis robe stuff that she has, and she's just gonna go. She's going on the assumption that they respect holy people here, since the guard at the front of the gate seemed to. So she just goes out and excuse and says, "Oh, I'm just gonna go pray." Maybe they'll let her out.
Okay,
Go.
so
That's good. Be careful. Go. Don't get caught. Come back. Quick. Be careful. Go.
so as I
Alunodas
understand
takes you
this,
through the door.
this is Alexander disguised as an elf, and you are just your dragonborn self in this Arathis robe, and you're walking down the steps in this inn and walking outside.
Yes, but not together.
Okay, who's going first?
I would like to go first.
All right, so you walk down the steps, and you see the mistress of the inn here pouring some drinks. The common room here, while not full, there are some people that are in here. You see 2 elves that appear to be soldiers off duty who are drinking, and you also see another elf in some fine blue robes who appears to be deep in his cups of wine, who is reading a book over in the corner. Are you walking outside?
Yes.
So you walk outside, and you are going to pass these 2 elven guards, and they are just going to nod to you as you walk out into the street.
I would nod back and continue on.
Okay.
I'm
Juliet.
peeking out the window.
Yes.
So you see all this, Alunodas. Juliet, so you walk down the steps, and you notice that these 2 or 3 soldiers that are here drinking are eyeballing you as you walk down, and you hear some whispers between them, and you notice that they're still looking at you.
Juliet is actually going to walk over to them as boldly and confidently as possible, and
Deception check.
Gentlemen, I'm just out here for my daily prayers, and I was hoping you could direct me to the nearest temple of Corellin.
One of them, who appears to be a higher rank than the other ones, looking at the way he's dressed, says, "Aren't you a priestess of Arathis? Why would you be praying at the temple of Corellin?"
I still respect all the gods, and your culture as well. It's all very important to me, and I'd rather have a holy place to pray, as opposed to just some room.
Sure. Go out the door, turn left, past the clock tower, before you get to the statue of Corellin. You can't miss it.
Thank you, and blessings of Arathis on you.
You as well. And then they turn back to their discussion.
Okay, made it through that conversation. All right.
So, are you walking outside?
Yes.
So, as you walk out, 2 guards are still standing outside. One's going to look at you and say, "Your Grace, where might you be going?"
I'm headed to the Temple of Coralon.
And why?
I need somewhere to pray.
Is that the best place for you to be praying?
It is a holy place, isn't it? I need a holy place to pray. Do you expect me to do so in my room?
I don't see why not. But far be it from me to prevent you from your prayers. I will accompany you. Jarrett, can you hold down the fort here? And the other elf is going to nod. And the elf's going to say, I will accompany you.
Great.
If you would follow me.
Juliet will definitely follow.
So he is going to lead you down the street here to number 6 on the map.
Alright.
This is about a 6-story tower that ends to Cap Point. Around it, there appears to be these almost like Stonehenge structures all the way around this tower. And then encircle it. To your south, you are going to see the statue to the elf god.
Neat. On the way there, Juliet is going to ask the guard, so exactly why are you protecting us? Why are you standing guard outside of our place and accompanying me? It just seems rather odd.
I just have my orders.
Who are they from?
No one you know.
Is crime a problem? Are there criminals about and you're protecting me? Is that what's going on?
Let's just say it's as much for y'all protection as it is all's.
Oh, well, that's wonderful to hear.
You look around and you're going to notice people out on the street, like pointing and talking. It's pretty obvious that you are being singled out here as a curiosity in the city.
Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O.
And the guard is going to look over his shoulder and see this and look back at to you and say, see what I mean?
I'm certain it's mere curiosity.
Surely.
But Juliet, when she gets to the temple, she's going to find... she's kind of just going to follow the lead of the other people who are there, the priests and the various, what would you call them, worshippers, whatever they are, and just kind of pretend like she is doing prayers and paying respects and all of that.
Outside of this place, you aren't seeing a lot of worshippers. You are seeing some, what appear to be priests walking in and out of the temple. You see some elves that pass by the statue and will give like this, it's like a sign where they take their palm or the fingers of their hand and press to their forehead and then to their heart and do a slight bow.
Okay. Juliet is going to play it up a bit more, but she's going to do a similar gesture as she walks up to it and maybe kneel down, lower her head, mumble something under her breath. Stupid, sexy Alunodas.
Alright, so as you walk through this park, you are going to see this fountain that appears to be probably 40 feet in diameter. It's about 3 feet deep. There is this pedestal that rises above the water, and then a statue of a tall elf in full plate armor with a greatsword out in front of him with the tip of the sword pointed down into the ground. He is wearing this flowing cloak and this helm.
Would I know who this is?
Oh yeah, this is Corellian.
Okay, just double checking it's the same guy. For some reason, I thought it was a different statue you were describing. I'm looking at the map, like I don't see that one. It's the same one. Okay.
Yeah, it's right here at number 5 where I'm pinging.
Yeah. Interesting. And you said there were like trees everywhere. Is it less like an urban area, and does it look more like a park? Is that?
It's kind of like an urban park, like if you were in like the forest park of, like, say, Central Park in NYC.
Oh, okay. Cool. If any of our viewers haven't been there, I highly recommend it. It's nice. I guess, Juliet's gonna spend like an hour or two there just pretending to pray and just taking stock of what's going on, who's going where, if there are any disturbances, and then head back. She was planning to do other stuff, but it's clear that this guard is not going to let her.
As you are there praying, you're looking around and trying to take stock of your surroundings. You are going to see some passerbys doing their same respects to the statue. You're still going to see some of the priesthood moving in and out of this temple. But curiously, as you are facing the silver tower here, you are seeing shifts of guards move in and out in the hour that you were there. You're also going to see people on horseback hurriedly move up the street, dismount, and run into the temple.
Oh, Juliet is going to take a break from her prayers and move inside to follow as stealthily as possible, or I guess what would you call it? As inconspicuously as possible.
To where?
Where the people who just dismounted and ran inside, they went to a temple, right?
To the Silver Palace, which is where the king is.
Never mind then. Yeah, that's not where I want to go. Okay, so I'm getting the vibe here that there is really like maybe a safety concern, in the sense that maybe the Wood Elves will one day breach the walls and or do guerrilla warfare in the night, but I could be overthinking this. But if that's all that happens, then Juliet is going to head back.
Alright, so you finish your prayers and stand up. You turn around. Not more than like 10 feet from you is that same guard who followed you down and says, "If you're done with your prayers, I'll escort you back to the inn."
Oh, yes, please. That would be most appreciated. What's your name again?
My name is Paints.
Paints. Very well, Paints. Let's head back.
So he is going to motion you to follow him up the street. So after about 15 minutes, you make it back to the inn, and you notice that same guard is standing outside.
Damn, long shift.
Well, you were only gone about an hour.
Oh, that's true. Alright, so yeah, Juliet will just go inside, nod to the guard as she walks in.
Guard is going to nod to you, and then adjust the saddle on his horse. You walk through the common area. The same 3 guards that are in there, that were in there before, are still in there. You notice that the one noble over in the corner is much drunker and trying to engage the soldiers who aren't paying any attention to him.
At least they're professional, I guess.
So, you going back upstairs?
Yeah. And where's Shane during all of this?
So, let's cut to Shane. So, Alexander, you have left the inn around the same time as Juliet. What are you doing now as a high elf in disguise?
I will walk the streets to get my bearing and try and not look suspicious, and figure out where the graveyard is of Elysian Silverbow.
You're walking around and you aren't... Give me an investigation check.
Crits, 25.
So as you're walking around, you aren't really seeing any graveyards here. The most holy and consecrated place that you find is the temple, right here where Juliet was earlier. And actually, as you're walking the streets, you pass by and see her outside the temple praying. with this guard watching over her.
I will not make contact and continue on my way.
Okay, so as you walk down the streets, you are seeing some the shops here to the south and west. There appears to be like a general store trader. There appears to be like a magic shop. There is a weaponsmith and armorer, and also a scribe and wandsmith. For the most part, as you walk through these neighborhoods, they look pretty residential, like kind of like upscale suburbs. Is there anything in particular that you're looking around for? Because you're not seeing a graveyard. You're really not sure what they do with their dead here in the city.
Could I try and roll a nature check to see if I would be able to get an idea about it?
Yeah, sure.
21.
With the 21, you're not sure this would probably be more of like a religion check with what they do with their dead.
Okay, I can re-roll if need be. 18.
So you kind of get the feeling that with their dead, they are basically given back to the earth here. All these trees around this place may be markers to ancestors.
Okay. I would like to make my way back to the hotel, to the room.
Okay, did you want to investigate the statue?
Sorry, which statue?
The one of Elysian Silverbow.
Yes, please.
You walk back down to the fork here from the main road coming from the south gate, where you came in, and spend a little bit more time with the statue. You notice that this is a beautiful elven woman who appears to be dressed in this leather armor. The one thing that sticks out about her is the bow. Can you read Elvish?
I can use comprehend language to read Elvish,
okay,
which I will do.
So you cast a spell, and there is an inscription below this statue that says, "In memory of our Savior, Elysian Silverbow, Conqueror of Ruin."
No, she's not. She cheated. It's a lie.
Is there anything else noticeable?
Without getting into this water and like getting up on the statue, give me an investigation check.
15.
So you make a circuit around the statue, and it appears to be like a solid granite statue. There are some silver inlays around the pedestal, and then the plaque where you read the inscription is made of gold. It's probably about 4 feet by 3 feet in size.
Okay. I would like to see if her boots are very distinguished.
You look at the statue, and I mean the boots are part of it. They look pretty ornate, but they just appear to be part of the statue. You know, the statue itself is probably about 20 feet tall. The boots on the statue would be, probably 3 or 4 feet.
Okay. I think I've got everything that I can from this specific area. I will start walking back.
All right, so you make it back with no issues, and the same 2 guards that you met on your way out are still there, and they nod to you as you walk in the inn.
I will nod back and go forward.
All right, so you're able to make it in and up the stairs. When you walk in, it's much the same scene inside, with the bartender, the 3 elven guards, and the 1 noble over in the corner getting drunk.
I will nod in their direction and go towards the room.
All right. As you start walking up the room, the 1 noble over in the corner says, Hey!
Yeah?
Would you come over here and have a drink with me?
No thanks. I'm a bit busy at the moment. Very tired.
Okay.
I will be on my way.
Okay. So you walk upstairs and go to your room.
Who is in the room?
At this point, I'm assuming it's probably you and Alunodas to a room. Nifron probably has his own room, and then Juliet and Talia.
That makes sense.
Who has the question statue?
Good question.
That would probably be in the bag of holding.
Zoinks. I take out the statue.
All right.
I think we should ask a question to try and narrow down where the boots are, since we're kind of short on time. That way tomorrow we can cash in on a new one. What do you think?
Didn't we already do that?
We did it at some point. Don't know how recently.
Yeah, you asked where the boots were, and it said it was beyond its sight.
I thought that was more time than I internalized in my head. Okay, I guess we'll wait until tomorrow to ask the question for the magic
We can ask
conch.
if they're in the Feywild. I think that was Juliet had that idea. I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah, sounds good to me. But I was unable to suss out that much, besides a little bit more about Elysian.
And I think that's probably a pretty good place to end it right there. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dungeons and Debacles podcast. If I could ask a halfling-sized favor, give us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. It's the best way to support us. New episodes come out every Monday, so make sure to check your podcast app. Do you have an idea to make the podcast better? Tell us about it on Twitter or Facebook. You can also check out our website to see all the maps, lore, and characters at dungeonsanddebaclespodcast.com. And now a word from our fantasy sponsor.
Greetings, and welcome to the Wizard's Wardrobe. I'm the proprietor, Balak Hyrule, at your service. We have Swell's most unique collection of magical items and potions. Have you ever wanted to fly? We have a potion for that. Have you ever wanted to be strong as a bull? We have an elixir that can make that happen. Did you use a magical item without knowing what it did? We have scrolls that can remove almost any curse. Once there was a young man that found a girdle, and when he put it on, it turned him into a lady. That was quite a shock, I'm sure. We helped him with that too. Oh, where was I? Oh yes, the Wizard's Wardrobe. We have rods and wands and cloaks and robes to fit almost any discerning adventurer's need. And all items have been identified by a certified wizard, so you know you're getting exactly what you paid for. Guaranteed. When you think of magic, think of the Wizard's Wardrobe. We're located on Elm Street in Luscane. And remember, if it didn't come from the Wizard's Wardrobe, who knows what you're getting?
Yes, we were hunting down red talons and encountered them on a similar pathway. We ended up talking after
Can
one
you
of our
stop
hunts.
clicking? God damn it.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Click,
realize.
click, click. I can't even hear you from the clicking.
Well, I'll click you. Don't worry about it. One more bad mouth and that's another click for the team. I was doing a second nature. My bad. Cut. Pause.
And you clicked again.
That was on purpose. I'm sorry. Pause. Yeah, how do you guys like the my moments of inspiration in the Discord?
I like the
Yeah.
fence.
Actually,
that was a good
I'll
one.
also be right back. I have to use the restroom. In like 2 seconds.
All right.
Okay, maybe longer than 2 seconds, but BRB.
We're losing everybody.
That's what we need. We need, instead of you being a bard who talks, we need you to be our meme smith.
Yeah, that'd be. I can do that. You know, I'll do it for free. Heck,
Sweet. And then you can just hand your memes to Kevin and be like, okay, this is how we're making money. We're spreading these in a periodical, and we're going to make money that way. And then anybody who asks, oh, he's the famous meme smith.
yeah, I function through the black meme kit. I'll take the silence as an answer. Okay. I'll remember that.
Welcome back.
Did I beat Kevin?
Yep.
That's sad. My bathroom is so much farther away now than it was before.
Is it?
Well, yeah, back in my house in Zion, my bathroom was literally like 10 steps away from my computer.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So if I had to go to the bathroom, I usually just waited for somebody to start talking a lot and just go.
See, here's the problem. When we wait this late, that means I've been drinking for at least like an hour and a half.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that is not conducive to success.
No, we were just talking about the fact that I beat you back, despite the fact that I left a minute after you did.
So we're going on about 2 hours. I think this is probably a pretty good place to end it.
Yep.
All right.
Since you guys have no fucking idea what you're doing.
None whatsoever.
Nope. We're like children lost in a hardware store.
Well, I mean, there's some questions to be asked. But it's kind of hard because you're in an extremely xenophobic city. There's a companion here, and you're not quite sure what questions to ask and to whom at this point. Not gonna lie, it's a tough nut.
Maybe Juliet could spend some time at the library.
You know, I'm happy that you say that, Kevin. I feel all of this whole situation just makes me feel like I'm losing brain cells. I'm like, am I not getting it? Is there just something that I just don't get? It feels like I'm in a mystery show.
I mean, there is an answer here, but it's going to be hard to get to.
Reasonable enough. I know what it is. They're in on the sting. The people that they're doing the sting on are also in the sting. They're doing their own sting against them.
It's so meta. The music you heard on this episode was Death of Kings, Frozen Star, Water Prelude, Teller of the Tales, and Rides by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. CreativeCommons.org/licenses/by/3.0.